So hello guys, welcome to Pitching in Line. Playoff is here. Four teams are there: Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, RCB, Sunrisers Hyderabad. So now it's all up to them. We have to see who are those teams, who is that team, which is gonna lift the trophy on November 10th. So it's been a very good journey, as far as this IPL is concerned. No team had outright domination throughout the tournament. All the teams had their ups and downs. So we'll talk about all the teams which have qualified for the playoffs and what they did right to be here. So let's start with Mumbai Indians, bro. So let's have a word about Mumbai Indians. How did they perform? They have been a consistent performer. So how do you rate their performance this time around?
Yeah, like you said, this has been the most closely fought IPL. In the of 13 years of IPL, we haven't seen something so close.
Hmm.
And one important point, what I would like to make over here is, we have seen in 2019 SRH qualifying with 6 wins,
Hmm, 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 hmm.
and this year the team which has finished in the last, Rajasthan Royals, they have finished with 12 points. That means
Correct,
6 wins. So you
correct.
could see how closely fought it was. And like you rightly mentioned, no team has gone out and dominated completely.
Hmm.
Yes, we have seen top three teams about 2 weeks ago who were sitting right at the top dominating. But as we see in the later stages of IPL, where the bottom teams are going to come up and challenge them, and I don't think so. When was the last time when a team which is finishing in the first position has qualified with 9 wins? Usually,
Hmm.
you see around 10 or 11 wins. So
Correct.
that actually shows you the quality
Hmm.
and such a less gap between all the teams. And since Mumbai has qualified first, so we're going to talk about Mumbai right now. And
Hmm.
they have been phase of IPL for this last 7 years. They won four titles, 4 titles in 7 years,
Yeah.
and there have been this huge thing that this is even year and MI doesn't win in
Hmm,
even
hmm,
year,
hmm,
but
hmm, hmm,
they
hmm,
have been as good as they were always.
hmm.
So and they would like to have that back to back titles. That is
Correct.
something they didn't have, and
Correct.
they also would want to winning this tournament, they would be the most successful team by a margin, because second is three by
Hmm.
CSK.
Yeah.
In case if Mumbai wins, they go up to five.
Hmm, hmm,
So
hmm,
I think that would be something in their minds, and they know the situations very well.
hmm, hmm,
So we are going to talk about first the team.
hmm.
Uh, so far, this is the team which has found their playing 11, ideal playing 11 in the starting itself. Uh, so, for these people, whom do you think was the star player? I mean, Mumbai is filled with many stars,
Yeah.
but whom do you think was the one where whenever Mumbai is in trouble, you have this player coming up, performing them or saving them from losses?
I think this year, I think Mumbai Indians doesn't. We can't point out a single guy and tell that yeah, this guy has been the match winner for them, because in multiple occasions you have seen Surya Kumar Yadav playing couple of match winning knocks. You have seen Jasprit Bumrah bowling some match winning spells. It's not like a single guy has been given that responsibility. Yes, they, as a team, they have played well. But for me, if you talk about one single individual which created an impact, in Mumbai Indians, I think it will be Ishan Kishan. Why? Because he wasn't considered initially for the 11. They instead went with Saurabh Tiwari. Then unfortunately for Saurabh Tiwari, he was injured in a match against RCB. I guess, yeah, it was RCB. So Ishan Kishan was the one who came in and he played that scintillating knock. He almost won the game for the Mumbai Indians. Then he went to middle order. Then when Rohit Sharma came, went out and he opened and he scored some consistent runs. He on brisk pace. So I think for me it will be Ishan Kishan.
Yes, rightly said. I think Ishan Kishan is the player that this season for Mumbai has beaten above his weight. He's
Hmm.
punched above his weight. We know he's somebody who's very talented, but being such a young guy coming into team with superstars, T20 superstars in the world, and still, you are standing tall and you're delivering. Your efforts are being converted into wins of the team is something really special. And I think the star player for Mumbai has been Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah.
Now we have always seen him. Like up until 2017,
Hmm.
he used to always bowl well. Come in the start, bowl those crucial death overs, win MI those matches. But what we have seen in this season is he's picking up a lot of wickets.
Correct.
Yeah, though Bumrah is a big name in IPL, he has never won purple cap, and and it was very interesting how Pollard and Rohit Sharma used. Whenever they asked Bumrah to come in, he came and he took wickets, and he took big wickets. He took Virat Kohli out when it was required. So I think Jasprit Bumrah is the one for me personally who has been a star. I think being a pacer is not at all easy in those conditions, and I think
Correct.
he has definitely delivered it. So going into the playoffs, what do you see? What is the ideal 11 for Mumbai Indians?
I think if you compare it with that 11 which played SRH, I think there are two swap changes, two changes right away. I will bring in Bolt and Bumrah for Nathan Coulter-Nile and Dhaval Kulkarni, and Hardik Pandya walking in for Saurabh Tiwari. I think that will be the ideal 11 for Mumbai Indians going into this match.
Yeah, Mumbai. I think they're not going to tinker with that winning combination of it. So I don't really see that. And right now, since that is the team which has consistently won the tournament, they do start as a little bit of favorites, not because of their conditions, not because of the form, but because they have been very, very well experienced in these kind of situations. So next, we're going to talk about Delhi Capitals. They're exactly opposite of Mumbai Indians. They have been doing well for the past 2 years. Before 2 years, like last year, after 7 years, they qualified for the playoffs, and they had this dubious record of not winning a knockout match in the playoffs, and
Hmm.
they did that in the last season by beating SRH in the eliminator, and they lost to CSK. And
Hmm.
this year they went a little bit ahead and finished in the top two, so they'll have two chances to go into the final. And this is a team which had a little bit issues coming into the tournament, coming into the playoffs,
Yeah.
because they lost four out of five.
Hmm.
But I think they found a good 11 right now.
Correct.
What do you say?
Yeah, I mean the 11 is kind of now gelled well. No, batting has been an issue, because both the openers we haven't seen even a single match where both the openers fired. Right, either Prithvi Shaw who was scoring runs in the initial stages, then it was Shikhar Dhawan who was scoring the runs. Until when, as you rightly said, when they lost those matches, we saw both the openers failing. So
Hmm.
against Mumbai Indians, so that's kind of been a worry for them. But I think by bringing in Rahane and they're beefing up the middle order has kind of done the trick for them. It's not now with this Prithvi Shaw can play his natural game. If he gets out, okay, all right. If he score well, it's fine because you have somebody like Rahane and Iyer in the middle order to give that solid partnership and repair those damages which happened in the top order. So I think Delhi has found the right level. I think at the right time coming into this playoff.
Yes. So the star player for Delhi Capitals has been Kagiso Rabada.
Yeah,
I think he has come in. He won them the super over match single-handedly. When it went against Kings from Punjab, and his record of taking wicket every match for 25 matches in a T20 tournament, I think that is ridiculous. That exactly shows the quality and the determination of that pacer. I think he has been a standout player,
mm,
and I think Shikhar Dhawan has been a very very impactful player.
yeah,
You know, if whenever Shikhar has been playing well, DC somehow they were winning, except that one match where he scored 100, they couldn't finish it off.
correct.
But yeah, after transferring from SRH, we don't talk much about Shikhar Dhawan, but how important is it for DC? Because both the seasons, I think he scored above 500 runs.
Yes. I mean, he has been that bank, right? If you see in SRH when he was actually his natural, style was like David Warner, how he plays, how he dominates the bowling attack. I think David Warner is kind of a similar player who likes to dominate the bowling attack. But when we saw when he played against SRH, he kind of he was kind of let David Warner take the front and he batted around. He batted around the tail and he batted around the team. I think his approach was kind of different when he was in SRH, but when he came into DC, I think we started to see his old self and the way he dominates a bowling attack. It's really wonderful to see. And one match against Kings 11 Punjab, when other batsmen were struggling to score, even get into double figures, he scored a century single-handedly. So that talks a lot about his ability and his experience. So I think Shikhar Dhawan. And as far as match winner is concerned, for me, yes, Rabada has been a brilliant asset for Delhi Capitals with the ball. But I will say it is, if you ask me, it will be like Henrik Nokia, because he has done that job as well, right? Rabada has been, Rabada's ability to swing the ball, how he bowls at this death overs. I think Nokia has been a real asset for them because he has complemented well, Rabada. It made things little easy for Rabada. It's not like, now it's not like before that, all the concentration is on Rabada to take wickets. And now with Nokia coming in, he has shared that responsibility. And mind you, he was not the first choice player. He has come in as a replacement. I think it's Nokia for me.
Okay. So we'll talk about the chances of winning this year. They are going against mighty MI, who know all this, who have been in the situation and everything. And I think one advantage what DC has is they have a lot of players who are youngsters who
Hmm.
haven't won any IPL title,
Hmm.
bearing Ashwin and Shikhar.
Yeah.
No one has won an IPL title, so I think they would be hungry.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I think that is also their curse because they haven't been in the situations many times, and we have seen they have this one weakness.
Hmm.
When players are going against Rabada and Nokia,
Hmm.
DC is falling apart,
Yeah.
and there have been this team which hasn't been really good at chasing. They have been very good at defending totals, but they haven't been very good at chasing. But considering how right now, because of due factors,
Hmm.
I think most of their teams would like to chase in the
Correct.
second half. So it will be interesting to watch. But yeah, I think DC is I think they found a good 11, and they have a perfect coach in Ricky Ponting to guide them. Like what is the mentality in the big games? There's no better players than Ricky Ponting.
Hmm.
So we are going to talk about third team, which is led by international superstar Virat Kohli. Uh, there have been a lot of trolls
Hmm.
about RCB. After 2016, where they had a brilliant run up to the finals,
Hmm.
they're
Hmm.
qualified now,
Hmm.
and which I still feel which is a very underachievement for them, considering they have players like Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, Yuzvendra Chahal. So I think that has been biggest flops of IPL because because they have that team to qualify. I think most of the things have to be done with the Chinnaswamy Stadium. I
Hmm.
think coming to UAE, if there's any team that has benefited, that
Hmm.
is Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Correct.
And even them, like Delhi, they're
Hmm.
coming out of four losses in a row, and they lost it pretty convincingly. It's
Yeah.
not like the it was a close match. They were up in the game and they lost it. But they lost two matches by 5 wickets. They
Yeah.
lost one match with 6 wickets, and they lost
Correct.
one more match by 8 wickets. So I think that would be something that would play on in their mind subconsciously. But all these teams are very experienced. They know that previous games wouldn't be a factor, so they'll come with a
Yeah.
fresh start over here. So who do you think has been the star player for RCB and most impactful player for RCB?
Devdutt Padikkal. Devdutt Padikkal hands down, because there has been a lot of hype about this guy, coming into this tournament. We know how capable he was. We have seen him performing really well in the domestic circuits. So there was always, expectations from him coming into. I think he has lived up to this expectation right from the first match against Sunrisers. He played that, vital knock for them. He gave them a good start. He has been a really confident player. I think, yeah. I mean, in between there was some issues with his strike rate and all, but again, leaving aside that strike rate thing, but he has been a consistent performer. He has scored, almost every time he has batted for his side. He has been that, consistent. You can rely on him to score some runs and give that start to the Royal Challengers Bangalore team. So I thought Devdutt Padikkal has been a brilliant addition for them in this year.
Yes, and considering that it's his debut season and he has scored around 470 runs.
Hmm.
See, that's mind-boggling because I think even ABD hasn't scored those many runs.
No.
right? I think Virat Kohli is around near to him. So that has been biggest positive for RCB, not just this season but also going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a local boy, so I think he would give that local flavor to RCB.
Mm-hmm.
I think yes, he has been so far the find of the tournament, and just not very. I don't see any other player winning emerging player of the season. I think it should be Devdutt Padikkal. He has
Yeah.
scored 450s, 4 or 5.
Yes. Four.
450s. So I think again he will be definitely a good support cast for Virat Kohli and ABD. And one more thing, what I would like to talk to you is they're playing 11.
Mm-hmm.
They at the later end of stages
Mm.
they dropped Aaron Finch and they bought Josh Philippi.
Correct.
But Josh Philippi has been not so productive for them. And same thing with Udana. Udana did well in the
Mm.
starting,
Yeah.
but I feel like he's kind of losing his mojo. So do you
Mm.
see those changes, or are these changes risky, considering that again you'll go with playing 11, which is brand new playing 11 in an important match?
I think for me, I think they might consider bringing in Aaron Finch back. If not Udana, I think I will come back to Udana later. But as far as opening is concerned, Josh Philippi hasn't done bad. That's to be really
Mm,
honest with you, he hasn't done bad. But again, he hasn't created that impact also. That 30,
mm,
40 runs, even Aaron Finch can score. And Aaron Finch being an experienced player, he is captaining Australia. So I don't see any chance. No, he is not playing this crucial match because eliminator high pressure situation. Somebody like Josh Philippe, I don't know how he can handle this situation. I think Aaron Finch is better equipped, and with
mm,
somebody like him in that 11 will definitely add a lot of value to that 11. I think I'm saying that only change for me. If you ask me, I think that's the only change which they must do. And if last match, if you saw, Chris Morris wasn't in the ground for most part of the time. If Chris Morris isn't
mm.
fit, I will like to bring in Moeen Ali.
Yes, I think since the pitches are getting slow, so I think he will be a good addition. But I think this is not something what RCB would like coming
Hmm.
at later half of the stages.
Hmm.
Uh, but again, DC and RCB has never won IPL, so we have two teams this year,
Hmm.
which and this is 2020 year of 2020. All bizarre things are happening, so we might see a new champion this year.
Yeah.
So the fourth team we're going to talk about is Sunrisers Hyderabad,
Yes.
which 2 weeks back I don't think anybody would have expected them to make it
Yeah.
into the playoffs,
Hmm.
and they've made it for 5 seasons in a row. I think SRH is a team which doesn't get a lot of credit, lot of attention for for the I think for their consistency, and I think they would be mighty pleased considering how the situation was to come into players. And do you think they found an ideal 11 because they had a lot of injuries? They were very unlucky in starting. It wasn't Bhuvneshwar Kumar who has been their main bowler. Bhuvi, Rashid, and David Warner. These both have been the tripod for the face of Sunrisers, and they
Hmm.
lost
Hmm.
Bhuvi very early. And
Hmm.
considering the losses what they had, losing against KKR, 1 ball 2 runs, they didn't finish it. They're chasing 126, they couldn't finish it. 20 from 18, they couldn't do it. And even against RCB, their first match, they lost what 24 for 24 runs. They lost 8 wickets. I think after those defeats, coming back, what is your perception of that?
I think it was all to do with David Warner's flamboyant captaincy. He has led the team from the front. He is an inspiration for that bunch of players for SRH. We have seen him. He gives you blood and sweat. Everything. He gives it all when it comes to, if it even if it's Australia or it's Sunrisers. And he's given that responsibility. He likes his challenges. He wants to fight. He wants to win. And think that is the quality which has transformed Sunrisers luck this time around. And even despite all those things, and we have seen them qualify, it's only because of this man, David Warner. Yeah, and they had this fair share of injuries, starting with, they would have thought, they had their plans with Mitchell Marsh as an all-rounder who can give you 4 overs and he can bat at 5 or 6 and give those, score those crucial runs. But all those plans were shattered in the initial match itself, and he was broken down. So and from there onwards, I think their whole combinations kind of up for went for toss. They were trying to accommodate Kane Williamson. Then there were for issues of middle order Indian batsmen who weren't stepping up. Apart from one match against CSK, Priyam Garg, even he hasn't performed up to his level, which we expected from him to perform. So there was kind of up and down thing. But one brave thing which they did was dropping Johnny Besto and bringing in Ridhiman Saha. I think that is the
Yes.
biggest
Masters.
positive influence for them. That was a blunder. If you, I mean, not a blunder, that kind of a risky decision that could have gone either way. That could have even cost them this playoff spot. But I think that
Hmm.
really paid off well, and whosoever took that decision, I hats off for him.
Yes, yeah, it turned out to be masterstroke, isn't it? Because he did play one match, he scored 30 odd in
Hmm.
same number of balls.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
But I think leaving out Johnny Besso was a huge call.
Yeah.
But he has been that player which wasn't very consistent as Saraj would have liked. Yeah. So and leaving him out and bringing Jason Holder,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
I think Holder also reacted pretty well,
Yeah. True.
bearing one match where he went for 47 runs or something, and that was against Delhi,
Yeah.
which I think match was almost in their hands. But I think Holder has been a player which has punched above his weight. And I think the biggest positive for SRH has been, yes, like you said, David Warner is playing like old himself.
Hmm.
What we know, like how he played for SRH in 15 and 16,
Yeah. Yeah.
17,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
taking on the bowling. But also the most impactful players has been very lesser known players like Saha.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Nadeem has
Hmm.
done well. He
Hmm.
is going under the radar.
Hmm. Hmm.
Jason Holder.
Hmm.
So I think at the right time, these their players are delivering for them, and I think they'll be very confident coming into playoffs because they had to win three matches in a row. And
Yeah.
what are the teams that they beat?
Yeah. Nice.
They beat all the teams which were in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and it was quite recently. So I think that would probably be a little confidence booster. But at the same time, like how we talk about IPL or T20 cricket, league stage now it doesn't matter. It's a fresh day and you have to do well. You have to execute your plans.
Hmm.
So, like, what do you think about Trevor Bayliss as a coach? Did you see any difference? Because 2 weeks back it was like very, things were looking very pathetic, and the turnaround. Any word on the backroom staff?
I think it will be difficult for any backroom staff or a team, who has, who has these issues, with injury issues. They are losing out on players, and they are losing matches from a winning position. That Kings 11 match was, nobody even would like to remember in their whole life. That is that kind of a collapse. So being a coach of that part, that like that mentality, it's difficult for him. But again, I thought he has reacted well. I mean, he has motivated the players. Him along with, I think, VVS Lakshman would have had a key role to play in this. Talk to youngsters, motivate them. He is already. We know about his how he was up as a player. He was. He never gave up. He fights. We have seen him. Playing with injuries. Winning matches for India. So that attitude, of VVS Lakshman, I think that is reflecting on this team now.
Yeah, I think SRH from now onwards they have to do what they're doing, how they're expressing, because for them the last three previous matches were like knockout games.
Yeah.
So they're gonna play maximum. They're gonna play three more games, and it's the same scenario where they have to win each and every single match, and it's almost against the same opponent. And I think again team has to deliver it
Hmm.
because unlike DC, Mumbai, or RCB, you don't have big heavyweight players.
Hmm.
Where you call them, oh, this man, on his day he'll win it. Yes, David Warner has been that player, but see, now at the end of the day, it's a team game.
Hmm.
After David Warner, there are not many players. So far, I think they have to continue the same work, whatever they're doing, and I think they would love to win this because they came for 5 seasons. They continuously qualified for playoffs, which means a good successful campaign. But they have won only once, played finals once and lost.
Hmm.
I think they would like to win it, but that would be a very very big task for them because all the three teams, I think. all the teams would be very, very eager to do well. So that's it, guys, from us. We have given you all the analysis of the top four teams, playoffs, who are their best players, who are their most impactful players, and what they have to do to ensure that they win this tournament this year. So that's it from us, guys. We'll meet you with after with the next video. Tata, see you, bye bye.
Bye.